Congratulations on the arrival of your new baby. When it comes, you will be flooded with all kinds of emotions, some that may hit you in the face and surprise you, and some that you can hope ahead of time would be happening. It is the most exciting day of your life. You will look at this bundle of joy, and the amount of love you feel for this baby will be unlike anything you've ever experienced. But it can also be a very terrifying experience, and that's a very normal feeling. They don't come with instruction manuals, and that's why pediatricians here to help you along, as well as all your extended support group. Some moms do experience something called postpartum depression, and baby blues are a common name for that. If that happens to you, talk to someone about it. It's not unusual. You're not crazy. It's a very real thing. Hormones start raging, and you look at the baby and may want to cry instead of smile, and there is help for you if that happens. Just be aware of it. Most moms don't experience, but it can happen. So knowledge is power. When the baby comes home, they can't talk to you. It can be a pretty scary experience because they will cry and you have no idea what's going on, why they're crying, what to do. As you get to know your baby, you will interpret these cries and you'll be able to figure out, or may be able to figure out, what cry is for pain, what's for hunger, what is I'm just exhausted. But in the beginning, it's very much trial and error. So you just kind of go through the steps. When did I last feed my baby? Do I think they should be hungry? Do they have a messy diaper? Is there something sticking them? Is the snap in the wrong position? So you kind of go head to toe and just work through everything. If everything you do when your baby's crying doesn't help and you can't figure it out, you fed the baby's dry, you've done everything you can, then it is okay, and you have my permission to put the baby in a crib and leave for a few minutes, walk away, turn off the monitor, take a breather, and then come back later. No baby ever was harmed by crying, but it can definitely get on your nerves if you can't figure it out. If your baby has inconsolable crying, so cries for hours on end and nothing you do makes a difference, that is not normal, and you need to talk to someone and probably have the baby examined to make sure there's nothing more serious going on. If the baby has recurrent crying, more than you think should be appropriate, also seek attention to talk to your pediatrician, because some babies do have medical problems can cause that. Most common being reflux, where they have some irritation in their esophagus from their stomach contents coming up, and they can get heartburn from that, and we can help you with that. Other things that we would want to see the baby for would be certainly any baby under 2 months of age that has a fever. Because their immune system is still pretty immature, they can develop infections that progress much more rapidly than in an older, more capable person with a better immune system. So then we'd want to see them. And then anything out of sorts for your baby that just doesn't seem right. Every baby will feed better on one feed than another. That's normal. You don't want to eat the same amount of food every day at every meal. But if you find that your baby's refusing to eat for more than a couple feedings in a row, that's unusual, and you need to talk to the doctor about that and see if your baby needs evaluated. The biggest thing with the home environment now is that simple is better. So in the nursery itself, bumper pads are out. They look adorable, but they have suffocation risks associated with them, so the American Academy of Pediatrics doesn't recommend them anymore. We don't want any fluffy things in the crib. Minimalistic is better. So no pillows, no really big soft animals the baby could put his head or her head up against and suffocate. Firm mattress is what's recommended. Water beds are not recommended for babies, and certainly co-sleeping with the baby. While in some cultures it happens, we do not recommend it because of the risk of suffocation of the baby. Moms can get extremely exhausted, and while you think that would never happen to you, natural exhaustion can take over, so we don't recommend that. So, in dressing your baby, cool is better. Don't overbundle your baby. That's a common mistake. You want temperature about 68 to 72 degrees is reasonable, not the high 70s. That's too warm for your baby. And then generally, as far as how much to put the baby in, a layer beyond what you're comfortable with is a general rule of thumb. And it also depends on the size of your infant. If you have a premature infant, you'll need a couple extra layers because they don't have a lot of body fat. But if you have a nice plump baby, they have pretty good body fat, so they don't need a lot more. Now, because they don't have a lot of hair on their head yet, and their head is a lot bigger in proportion to their body than an adult head, when you go outside and it's chilly outside, the most important garment to put on that baby is a hat to help keep the heat in. So that's important. The other thing with the environment when you get home is, before your baby even comes, is make sure that you have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, so basic safety things in your home. The other is hot water temperature. While immediately it won't be a problem for your baby, your child will be crawling and getting into things before you know it. So the recommendation is for the water temperature to be 120 degrees or less. The easy way to check this, if your thermometer on your water tank doesn't have a thermometer, is to just get a candy thermometer, put the water as hot as possible, put it in a measuring cup and see how hot it gets, and adjust the temperature accordingly. The other thing you're going to want for your baby, obviously, before you go home is a car seat. You won't be allowed to leave the hospital without the car seat. The newborns should be in a rear-facing car seat. They have some specifically designed for infants, and I do recommend, if you're able to get those, because they usually are portable, so you can just lift the baby in the car seat all at once when they've fallen asleep, and they're easier to manage. And then as your infant gets older and too big for this car seat, then you can get a conversion car seat that can go forwards or backwards. The new recommendations are to keep the babies backwards until they're 2 years old, which is a change. Most of you may have remembered the backwards until 1 thing, so that's a big change for you. And never in the front seat of the car, especially if there's an airbag on the passenger side, because that poses a risk to the baby when you're traveling. One of the decisions you'll need to make is whether you're going to breastfeed your baby or bottle feed your baby. And there is no one correct answer for each couplet. There are definitely benefits from breastfeeding, and it is encouraged and recommended if it works for you and your infant. It's the best nutrition for the baby. It's how nature designed it. There's extra immune benefits from there. And the composition of the milk actually changes as the infant ages to meet the infant's growing demands. It also is beneficial for the mom. It'll help your uterus clamp down and may help you lose some of that baby weight. But it's not for everybody, and it doesn't always work out. Sometimes, for one reason or another, it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, or your body doesn't cooperate. The formulas now are very good. We have 1 million of them out there. They're not like the old days where we used evaporated milk and mixed it with water and did our best. They're formulated specifically for babies now. They have iron in them. They have different things to help their brain grow, and different blends to mimic breast milk. That is the goal of all the manufacturers, is to make the milk as close as possible. And so I don't want anybody to ever feel like you're a failure as a parent if you choose not to breastfeed. There are many different ways to get nutrition to your baby, and the decision is uniquely yours. Being a parent or a mother or father doesn't always come naturally. The babies don't come with manuals, and nowadays with smaller families, a lot of us didn't babysit when you were younger, and you may not have had lots of brothers and sisters around now that people are having smaller families. So this is a learning experience, and you and your infant will learn together. The most important things I like to reassure parents is trust your instinct, trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right to you, it's probably not, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And if things seem right and the baby's happy, then you're doing okay. There's more than one way to do anything, and you'll get a lot of advice from everybody. You'll get advice from your doctor, you'll get it from your parents, your siblings, your friends, and basically listen to all that advice, but take what works for you and your baby, and trust your gut. I love being a pediatrician. I love infants. I love kids. I like watching them grow. I have 5 of my own, and being a mother was one of the most rewarding, or has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Kids are fun. They are innocent. They are unique. They make me laugh no matter what kind of day I'm having, there's not a day that doesn't come by that I want to chuckle. I love it. I love educating the parents so that they can be better parents and help get their kids grow up to be nice, happy, well-rounded, productive kids.